This is the 2024 Jaguar F Pace. I kind of like the color combination here, especially when you look at the way that this thing was built out. And that's one thing I love about Jaguars, Land Rovers, Range Rovers, is that you can customize these things so much. It's amazing. Now this one is the P400. So you're looking at the 250, the 400, or the 550. There's not a ton of differences between them, the big one being what's going on underneath the hood, but I'll share that with you once we take a peek under that. Inside of the F Pace, you're looking anywhere between 19 and 22 inch wheels, just depending on how you've configured it at time of ordering from the factory. This one has one of the aerodynamics packages though, which is going to give you the 22 inch wheels, the red calipers, adaptive suspension, Jaguar drive control with adaptive surface response. You've got configurable dynamics where you can adjust the throttle mapping, the shift points, the steering and suspension. There's a lot of technology you're going to find inside of the F Pace standard. You've got LED headlamps there with bending, forward sensing systems there. This thing also has beautiful styling, like the grille looks great, the Jag in the middle, the aerodynamic badge, it's just put together so well. Underneath the hood of the F Pace, you've got, as I mentioned, either the P250, the P400, or the P550. And that's the difference between a 2-liter turbo, a 3-liter turbo, or a 5-liter supercharged V8 instead. The P400, you're looking at the 3-liter turbocharged engine. 400 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. But if you want the best possible performance, like the most power, you're definitely going to want to go with that P550 instead. That supercharged V8 is an absolute beast. But I'm not saying this one isn't. Like the 3-liter in a car this size, I think is incredible. So if you're kind of like torn between, do I look at the 2, the 3, or the 5-liter? I think the 3-liter turbo is kind of like a good in-between engine where you still get really good performance, still decent fuel quality or economy all at the same time. You want to at least make sure that you're taking care of this thing, regularly scheduled maintenance, regular oil changes, in order to make sure you're getting the best possible life out of your ride and protecting that manufacturer's warranty all at the same time. The rear end styling of the F Pace is equally as impressive as the front end. There's going to be dual tip exhaust along with the reverse sensing system on top of that. If you want to get into the trunk of the vehicle, there's a button just to the left hand side of the steering wheel. You can use the Keyfob to do it. And then if you look just between the U and the A in Jaguar, there's a button just to the right side of the backup camera. Just going to push that. In order to lift this thing up. First thing to point out is that when you open this up, there's a little cargo protector there. So just to make sure that your valuables are kind of blocked off in the trunk. You could easily remove it though. So both along the left and the right side, there's a way that you've got to kind of push it off to the side and then you can pull in order to fully remove. Along the left side, there's a little cargo net. There's a release for the seat for the bench on the left side. Same idea, there's a release for the bench on the right side, and then a 12-volt power plug. By lifting this thing up, you've got the mini spare tire. So it's not a full-size spare, this thing's only a 19-inch mini. You could technically change the tire out yourself because the jack stand is in the very back. But one nice thing about being a Jag owner is that while your vehicle is covered under warranty, you also do have access to Jaguar Roadside Assistance. So they can help out with changing a tire, fuel delivery, winching services, battery jumping, and a series of other things. It's pretty useful having that available. Like, if you're handy doing something yourself, the jack is there if you want it. Folding down the second row seats is straightforward, and I love that you can do it back here. So there's a little release lever. You can pull that in order to fold the seat down. And when you do, there's just so much space available. And it's a 60-40 split, so 60 on the driver, 40 on the passenger. And the measurement units that I'm using are going from right where the liftgate would close to just in behind the first row armrest. So if your driver's seat or passenger seat are forwards or backwards a little bit more, you might gain, or it's plus or minus like an inch or two roughly, just depending on how far forward or backwards those seats are. Filling at fuel inside of the F Pace is straightforward, and it's along the passenger side. So this is an unlocked cover, so even if the car is locked, this thing is still going to remain locked. But it is a capped system, so if you're concerned about fuel theft, you could always get an aftermarket locked cap if you wanted to. It doesn't matter if you're in the 2-liter, the 3-liter, or the 5-liter. Minimum manufacturer's recommendation is going to be a premium fuel. So you're looking at a 91 octane at a minimum. So could you use an 87 or an 89? No. You want to use a 91, 93, or a 94 octane. 91, I like that kind of very minimum though, and that's the same across the entire vehicle lineup. With the turbocharged engine, the supercharged engine, etc., those things love higher octane fuel. You're going to get the best possible performance out of the vehicle when you use them. Taking a peek at the key fob for the F Pace. So along the back of the fob, you've got the Jag logo. Front side of the fob, the lock button, unlock button. There's a light button, trunk release, corner panic alarm, and then there's also the emergency access key. So just going to push and slide. There we go. So you can use that to get inside the vehicle if the fob's ever died, locking the glove box, etc. Now, there are a few interesting things about the fob. So the light button there, you won't be able to see it because it's pretty bright outside, but when you actually push the light button, that's going to turn on the headlamps. So you probably won't be able to see it there. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on the lamps there and walk in front so that you can try to see. There you go, you can see that. So you can turn the lamps on or off using the key fob. So it's pretty useful later on at night if you're walking towards your vehicle as well, just to kind of give you some illumination. On top of that, you can also use the fob in order to roll the windows up and down. So in order to roll them down, you're just going to press the unlock button and then hold it. So you're just going to do a press and hold. But watch this. Windows are going down. You can push any button and pause it part way, and then just press and hold again in order to continue the cycle. Look at that. And then it's moving, so you can just release it. But it's even getting the sunroof open as well. Amazing. You could push and hold the lock button if you wanted to close the windows too. But there's also one other way that you can do it. So right on the outside of the door there's a tiny little button, a little indentation. You can push that in order to lock and unlock the doors. But if you do a press and hold to lock it, watch this. So do press and hold for a few seconds as long as you've got the key fob on you. Oh yeah. You do have to continue to press and hold there too, which is kind of neat. But I love that it's like a window control for all of the windows and the sunroof. That's really nice. Taking a peek along the driver's side door. So the side mirrors do feature lights there. This one doesn't have the available 360 camera. So it just has the lighting on the outside. So welcome light to splash light down on the ground as you approach. It's a little blind spot monitoring system. So that's going to highlight if somebody has entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. Mirrors are power folding as an option. On the inside. Oh, beautiful. Get to the inside in a second. I love that. The red stitching along the door, that highlight red. Looks beautiful. Look at that little Jag logo there. Along the door, you've got your basic unlock lock button. There's a series of different buttons that are available there too. So as you can see there, we've got 3 individual seat memory buttons. So you set up your seat the way that you'd like to. Press the little mem button once, and then you can go either 1, 2, or 3 for it to remember your own personal profile. You can adjust your side view mirrors. You can have these things power fold. Figure out what's going on with the lock. So if you wanted to lock out the back doors, you could, back windows, etc. Basic window controls, and these things are illuminated. There's a little bit of door storage in there. Hopping inside, you've got this nice metallic highlight there. Love that wood grain. It's the same grain that follows through. So along the driver door there, follows through the dash. It's nice. You've got this little Jaguar, little Easter egg there. You can open and close the liftgate. And then if you wanted to adjust what's going on with the cluster screen, you can push there in order to be able to actually dial in and adjust the brightness of the screen itself. So you do have that available as an option. The seat inside of this thing, there are a few different options, well, series of different options for the color, but then also for the layout for the buttons here. So this one is kind of neat because you can adjust the individual leg cushions using this button. This is going to actually fold the seat in a little bit more. So it's going to kind of hug your body a little bit more on the outer parts of the seat. This is going to be four-way lumbar support. You can bring the seat forwards, backwards, up or down, and then also adjust the backrest. Ooh, just noticed that. Tiny little bit of storage right underneath the center there. But this thing is beautiful. And I mentioned it outside. I love all the different customization options that are available inside of this thing. All the different color choices, all of the inserts and things like that that you can customize in order to really make this thing your own. It's incredible. There are a few different trim levels of the vehicle that are going to give you varying features, a few different types of seats that are available too. So this one is gonna be the 16-way adjustable. So hold on, with the seat, just gonna do that first test. So with the seat all the way down, as far back as it's gonna go, I've got 3.5, 4-ish inches of headspace there. On top of that, this thing has the option for massage chair seats. And the massage seats are really, really nice. Hold on, let's get them going. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. And a ton of different options. So like upper back, lower back, if you want up, down, like a wave. So not like it's a shiatsu massage, but I mean, it's like riding in style and comfort. That is really good. I like it. The headrest looks like it's just, for a 2-way adjustable. So just forwards, just up and down. Sorry, there's no forward, backward option whatsoever. But the seat is really, really comfortable. That's nice. Beautiful. Look at that. Love it. Love the startup. The fully digital cluster screen that's got the option for, hold on, watch this. Display layout. Yeah, there it is. Map. Love it. Beautiful. I love this. The steering wheel inside of this thing is really comfortable. You've got the option of adjusting the steering wheel there, so it's power telescoping. In, out, up, and down. Love it. Heated steering wheel with a button to toggle it on right on the steering wheel itself. But if you want a full walkthrough, like you want to know how to use the different steering wheel buttons, navigate through the cluster screen, or even through the infotainment system, you'll find that walkthrough down in the description of this video. But the paddle shifters inside of this thing are nice, premium. Flip out, sounds good. Flash out the beams, control your front and your rear windshield wipers as well. It's a beautiful design in the very middle, but I mean, even looking like the design in general here, really, really solid overall. This is good. Now this is the 11.4-inch PIVI screen that you're going to find inside of the vehicle. So there are technically 2 different options across the majority of Jaguar Land Rover, Range Rover vehicles. So this is the larger 11.4-inch. But you've got so many different options that are available inside of this screen. Factory navigation is included here. Nice pinch to zoom capabilities, and this thing is super responsive. Back home, you can connect a phone wirelessly through Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You can strictly stream over Bluetooth if you wanted to. For media, you've got a ton of different options. So there's AM, FM, Sirius XM, USB. So if you had a USB stick with MP3s on it, you could plug yourself in there in order to be able to listen. It's an odd space for it, but I get why they did it. I think they probably could have added a USB stick or USB port somewhere in the center stack, but still it kind of hides some of the things you may not want to look at. So it is kind of nice that that's there. There's one thing that I recommend you do though before you start listening to audio. Through your audio settings in the screen, you're going to drop your treble down by 2 points and crank the bass by 3. And that's generally going to give you pretty good audio.
Do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good.
Okay, that was at half volume. Half volume, not even towards the end there. Like that is wild. The audio experience you get inside of this thing is unbelievable. It's the Meridian sound system. I love it. It sounds really, really good. You can adjust the vehicle dynamics here too. So if you wanted to play around with, what was it looking? Oh, there we go, setup. So if you wanted to change around the dynamics for the engine, steering, gear shifter, suspension, etc., you can do it all right through this screen. It's really good. Now you see there, it's saying that it wants me to select the dynamic mode to do it. So this is one cool thing. There's this little button that you can push, and when you do, it activates or deactivates different modes. So you could change it out to different modes. So dynamic mode versus comfort, eco, and then you've got different terrain modes as well. So terrain modes for things like traction stability control, in order to help out for snowy conditions, slippery conditions, and things like that. I just really love this. And hold on, watch this. So I'm gonna go into the dynamic mode for a second. So dynamic mode confirmed, and I wanna change it out to the traditional 2-dial layout. Look at this. Oh, I love it. So this will be the traditional cluster, like if you go into just like a regular mode, so like comfort mode, eco, etc. So I mean, it's nice, but I mean that. I love that. And just like the red with the red, it just goes together so nicely. But like I said, there are so many different options. Like this one isn't even as fully loaded as it can get, because this one, it has the forward reverse sensing systems, but there's also the option for a full 360 camera and a head-up display, which this one doesn't have. So many cool options available. I love it. Down the center stack here, you've got dual zone climate control, but these knobs are really neat. So you've got the option of pushing through in order to turn on your heated or ventilated first row seats. So you'd essentially go one way versus the other in order to be able to turn them on, but you can push there as well in order to be able to adjust your climate settings for the driver passenger side. And then you can also pull in order to adjust your fan speed that way too. So it's fan speed adjustment this way. Woo! You can push through in order to be able to go, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, in order to change out that way, or push again in order to be able to adjust your seats. Multifunction, it's kind of neat. They'll like pull to get to the fan speed though. That one definitely threw me off the first time. I was like, how do you adjust the fan speed? Yeah, straightforward. Go there in order to be able to adjust it instead. It's nice. Love it. This whole thing is actually like almost one big button too. So you can push through in order to get to some things. So you've got seat heat or massage. So you can toggle on the heated seats if you want to. So heated, ventilated, etc. You can go to the massage seats and the massage capabilities. So good. You've got wave, up, down, upper back, lower back with a bunch of different options for the intensity too. But the seat, really good when you've got that massage chair capability, and that's for the driver and for the passenger side. Love it. Down the middle, series of climate settings. Button press in order to go over to windshield face feet, adjust your basic climate. There's a wireless charge pad there. Your little start stop button. This is the dial in order to be able to adjust your audio settings there. So you can go up and down with your audio that way, or you can turn it off or mute by pushing the button there. This is the little mode button. It's so neat. Such like a neat little touch that they've got there in order to be able to adjust out the drive mode that you're in. You've got your brake control as well as traction stability control, which you can easily toggle off if you want to. The shifter inside of this is really neat too. So the button on the inside there. So you'd pull that in order to jump between drive, neutral, reverse, etc. Just back down into park instead. This thing typically is going to be closed, but nice little tray there with a 12-volt power point, a few cup holders, and a bit of storage. The armrest is not lockable, but you've got, see there, a few different USB power points. So there's a USB Type-C, and that's the data port too. So this screen does support wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but you could connect over USB if you wanted to that way instead. And just a little bit of storage space in there. Love this design though. Beautiful, the stitching here, being able to customize the wood choices, the colors. This is nice. Glove box here is lockable. A little bit of space in there. Shooting up overhead, this one has an auto-dimming rear view mirror with the option of programming in a garage door opener if you've got one at home. On top of that, oh, that's kind of neat. So if you need help, SOS, got you like your little red button there. I feel like I'm Men in Black right now. And then there's also controls for the panoramic sunroof. Look at that. So single button press is going to open the shade up beautifully. And then the controls for the actual roof itself. So you could push once in order to be able to vent out, and then push again. Look at that. Beautiful. And the single button press opens it up the full way. And then it's just another button press again in order to be able to close it. But when it closes, watch this, hold on. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, I didn't think it was going to close the full way, but it did. Perfect, and then button press in order to close the shade. From there, the visor has a little ticket receipt holder, vanity mirror with lights built in, and then this thing, unfortunately, is locked in place, so it doesn't extend out. So you would potentially get a little bit of sun in your eyes. I think that's one thing that could have been adjusted a bit, is the flexibility to drag this out, but here nor there. I think this is nice overall though. So with the driver's seat set up the way that I would traditionally drive, inside of the second row, I've got a good amount of foot space, great amount of knee space. And up overhead, sitting fully upright, like 1.5 inches inch, I'd say maybe like an inch of headspace. So not a ton of space up there, but just enough. I'm like just clearing. But the seat in the second row is surprisingly comfortable. Oh, that's actually really nice. No massage seat capabilities in the second row, unfortunately, but still, it's got a good amount of cushion. And the seats, unfortunately, are fully locked in place. So there's no way that you can recline the seats at all. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, no dice. You can't recline the seats whatsoever, so they are locked in place. You can't slide them forwards or backwards at all, but I still do have a nice amount of knee space inside of the second row. Behind the first row, you've got pockets, driver, passenger side. A few basic vents there with heated seat buttons for the outboard seats. So the middle seat's never going to be heated. Strictly for the outboard. Then a series of different power points. So you've got 2 more USB Type-C, and then a 12-volt power point back there too. And one thing, I definitely wouldn't want to get stuck in the middle seat just because of that little hump there. But there are anchor points and tether points there if you need them. You're going to find some cup holders right in the very middle, so built right into the seat. On the passenger side, a handle, hook, and a light. And that's the same thing on the driver's side. So a little handle, hook, and a little controllable light as well. And that was a look at the 2024 Jaguar F Pace, the P400 specifically, but I hope you learned a thing or two. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments section below and let me know. You can find a build link for this specific F Pace along with the contact details for Coventry if you're looking to contact them to put through an order for a Jaguar, Land Rover, Range Rover, etc. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until I see you next time, take care.